Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to study regarding red blood cells. We'll talk about its introduction, morphology, properties, fate and lifespan, and function of RBC. So let's get started with the first one, that is introduction of red blood cell. So red blood cells are also known as erythrocytes. Erythro mean red and cytes means cells. So that is red blood cells. What are these red blood cells? Red blood cells are non-nucleated cell, meaning do not have any nucleus. What does this cell do? This cell helps in the transport of respiratory gases, oxygen and CO2. Red blood cell have hemoglobin, that is a coloring pigment which gives blood its red color. So I will just write hemoglobin. Number of RBC present in the blood is so huge compared to that of WBC and platelets. At the time of birth, RBC count is around 6 to 7 million cell per cubic millimeter, or you can say 6 to 7 million cell per microliter. So you can use this unit or you can use this unit. Adult female have around 4.5 to 5 million cell per cubic millimeter, whereas male have around 5 to 6 million cell per cubic millimeter. The next point here is morphology of red blood cell. So we'll discuss about its shape, size and structure. So first is shape. Shape of RBC is biconcave, meaning two concave surfaces. Just like this. This is the section view and this is the surface view, like a disc shape. You can see at the center it is thinner and at the periphery it is thicker. Or you can say this as a dumbbell shape. Imagine a donut. How donut looks, similarly red blood cells look like that donut. So why we particularly have a biconcave shape of RBC? This biconcave shape of RBC have functional and mechanical advantages. What are those? So the first advantage of having an RBC as a biconcave shape is that it helps in the rapid diffusion of respiratory gases into the interior of cell. So I will write rapid diffusion. The second advantage is that due to its shape, minimal tension is offered on the cell membrane. So when the cell volumes get altered, this biconcave shape of RBC can withstand considerable change in the osmotic pressure and resist hemolysis or rupture of RBC. So I'm just writing the highlight points, okay? So the third point is that due to such shape, RBC can easily fold and get squeezed through the capillaries which have similar diameter that of RBC. Similar or less or equal, okay? So easily squeeze through capillaries without getting damage. And the fourth advantage is that due to such shape, it provides larger surface area for absorption and removal of respiratory gases. So larger surface area. So these are the four advantages of having a biconcave shape of RBC. The next point is size. So here I'm drawing the section view of RBC. Diameter of RBC is around 6.9 to 7.4 micrometer. The thickness at the periphery is around 2.0 to 2.4 micrometer, and at the center the thickness is around 1.2 to 1.5 micrometer. Square surface area is around 120 square micron, and the volume is in the range of 80 to 95 cubic micron. So this is about the normal size of an RBC. Now let's discuss its structure. As I mentioned earlier, RBC do not have nucleus. So no nucleus, meaning DNA is absent. RBC do not have mitochondria, Golgi apparatus. So I can write cell organelles are absent. So from where does RBC gets energy to transport respiratory gases? We'll see that RBC is dependent entirely on glucose metabolism for its energy supply. And who does this for RBC? I will tell you shortly. Also, the next point is that RBC do not have insulin receptor. So the glucose uptake by this cell is not controlled by insulin. Glucose is transported across the cell membrane by facilitated diffusion, carrier mediated passive process. Okay. So what structure does RBC have? So RBC only have cytoplasm and cell membrane. So firstly we'll study about cytoplasm. So the major part of cytoplasm is taken by hemoglobin. It's nearly about 98%. And the rest 2% we have cytoplasmic enzyme. And other part are present in the 2%. That is not that much discovered. So we'll just talk about cytoplasmic enzyme. So what does this do? This cytoplasmic enzyme are capable of metabolizing glucose and forming ATP. So the energy requirement of RBC is met by this cytoplasmic enzyme. They form the ATP. Also, cytoplasmic enzyme maintains membrane transport of ion. So beside making ATP, it has several other functions, like it keeps the ion of cell hemoglobin in ferrous form rather than ferric form. And the last function it prevents oxidation of protein in the RBCs. So these are the 4 functions of this cytoplasmic enzyme. Now let's talk about